It looks like one of the most controversial figures in recent times, Andrew Tate, has been kicked off almost every well-known social media platform you can think of. But as one last attempt to clear his name, Andrew Tate shares final message, which, from what we've heard, has somewhat changed people's negative opinions of him, now that he's shed some more light on what he's all about. Let's have a look. Number 5. Shedding some light on his past. Tate started off his final message by sharing the struggles he has had to face as a person of color growing up in Chicago. My life has always been difficult. As a man, trauma is extremely important because it is the building blocks of mental fortitude and physical fortitude. He also talked about how he was bullied as a child and how his father helped him deal with that problem, who told him that the right way to go about it would be for Andrew to deal with it himself. He then spoke about an incident in which he hit one of the children bullying him with a lunchbox after they made him snap by slapping him across the face from behind in the school bus. "I was taught that going to the authority and crying is not the way to conduct yourself," said Tate. He then discussed how he moved to the UK as a young man and lived in Luton, which was a crime hub at the time. Addressing him being deplatformed, he said, "I'm probably the only individual on earth who can be vilified to this level without taking personal insult and without being personally affected." Tate admitted that he allowed certain narratives about him to gain wind, which is something that he shouldn't have done, but still did, as they didn't get to him, as he knew they were false. "I live with a pure heart. I'm a religious man. I donate huge sums of money to the church. As long as I knew the truth of my heart and God knew the truth of my heart, I wasn't interested in lies being purported," he added. Number 4. Tate's qualms with being banned.
I think that these views are not very controversial at all. I think they were mainstream only a few years ago.
As the video went on, Tate also talked about the main qualms he had about him being banned. He said that even though he had done nothing wrong and wasn't emotionally affected by anything, one thing that he does have an issue with are the false narratives against him, which have affected not only him, but also the people close to him. Tate explained that people he didn't know were cutting certain bits out of his lengthy videos, and then taking what he said during that specific part totally out of context, which is something he didn't like. In his own words, "It makes it look like I said things I did not say, or meant things I did not mean. This is something I can't control," he added. "I do not like false accusations of criminal activity. That is another thing that I do not like." Tate also insisted that he doesn't have any kind of criminal record in any place on the planet. Number 3. Taking part of the blame.
My responsibility is to make sure that any kind of negative connotations in my messaging are removed.
The thing about Tate's message was, unlike other people who just point fingers, he actually acted like an accountable human being and agreed that he had at least some responsibility to bear regarding his ban. According to him, he blamed himself because his rise has been meteoric, almost to the point where he couldn't handle it. He said that it's his responsibility for the negative connotations in his videos to get removed, as that what he really has to say gets blown out of proportion when a certain part of it, which has been taken out of context, goes viral. If there was as many people cutting up videos like they did mine and those people had a negative agenda, they could make Mickey Mouse look evil. You could make anyone look bad. This massive amount of fame that he had gained over the past 6 months has also apparently been a threat to Tate's safety. Not only that, he said that the social media companies who were so quick to ban him have yet to take any sort of action after flagging the threats against him. Number 2. The most famous man on the planet.
The most famous individual who is currently alive in the world today.
You see, the reason everyone is talking about Tate and why he's constantly showing up in your newsfeed is something he's also explained in his final message. The Google search engine went through the roof over the past few months, making Tate the most Googled person in the world, even above Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Tate claimed that whatever he did was to help men's mental health, and that he had ultimately been a net positive for the world. That is the way in which he viewed himself. Number 1. What's next for Tate? Well, it looks like Tate will be a lot more selective of where he will be posting on social media, keeping in mind that he has been banned from all major platforms already. Aside from that, he's going to be starting the Tate Foundation, which will be for the charitable acts of both men and women. "My brother has a daughter. She's beautiful. She's my niece. I don't want her to grow up in a world where men are oppressive and hurting women. Why would I possibly want that?" said Tate. Tate ended his final message with a quote from his late father, Emery Tate. "My unmatched perspicacity, coupled with sheer indefatigability, makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor." Andrew Tate's final message surely left his followers in a state of shock.